The real life situation for our presentation is a personal experience of mine from when I was 4 years old. When I was four, I was taking a bath and I saw my mother rushing back and forth through the hall. I noticed that her arm was bleeding and I had no idea what to do. I began to panic and I was not comfortable calling 911 because I did not think that I would be able to speak English properly because English was not my primary language. Instead, I just stayed in the bathtub and I cried until my father came home and called 911. Our knowledge question that came out of our real life situation was, to what extent do previous life experiences influence the way in which people are able to access knowledge? And we dissected the real life situation and realized that a person needs to think on their feet and gather their knowledge quickly in an emergency situation. We looked at this from a broader standpoint and wanted to look into other everyday situations in our real life situation. I was really, really young, so we wanted to look at how age has an effect on one's ability to access knowledge. This then led us into thinking how a person's life experiences influence the way that they are able to access knowledge in everyday situations, not just emergencies. An area of knowledge that is accessed in the real life situation is the indigenous knowledge systems. The new real life situation introduces the real life situation introduces the area of knowledge of indigenous knowledge systems because I was not comfortable speaking English to the police. It shows how discomfort causes people to lose confidence in their ability to access knowledge, access and utilize their knowledge, especially in younger people because the younger you are, you're not always aware of the severity of situations and you don't understand how to react and what to do.
So this then leads us into our claims. Our first claim is that intuition has an influence on the speed and the way in which one is able to acquire their knowledge. So our first perspective is from a firefighter named Jacob, and he had run back inside of a burning building to save a young boy after the boy's mother had told the firefighter that the boy was still inside the house. So Jacob had found the boy and he had quickly extracted him from the building. The boy was safely returned to his mother with no severe injuries. The intuition of the firefighter was in effect in the situation, because the firefighter knew that the boy was most likely unconscious and could not rely on communication to locate the boy. Also, intuition played a role when the man had grabbed the boy without checking to see if he was alive or not, because the firefighter knew that there was no point in stopping to see if he was alive, because if he was alive, he would just be wasting precious time to save the boy. So, this was most likely not the firefighter's first time saving people from a burning house or building. His previous life experiences as a firefighter had a large role in building his intuition for firefighting, because if he was not a firefighter, or was very inexperienced at firefighting, maybe he was just his first day, you never know, he wouldn't have the intuition that he did in this example. Our next claim is that memory, although not as much as intuition, also has an influence on one's ability to access knowledge. In the same perspective about Jacob, the firefighter, he had remembered his training, and other times he had remembered his training, and other times that he had to save other people's lives in a burning house, giving him the knowledge to understand the situation he was in, and giving him the ability to act appropriately to what was happening. The firefighter learned that there was a child still inside the building and remembered his training when he was an inexperienced firefighter and all the times that he had saved people from burning houses. And he remembered what precautions to take and how to efficiently locate and retrieve the boy from the burning building. So this leads us into our counterclaim, which is past life experiences do not always have an influence on the ability for someone to access their knowledge. Our second perspective talks about how a little boy was able to save another little boy who was drowning. His mother was not able to save the drowning boy, so the other boy had to take action. He had remembered a tactic he saw in the TV show SpongeBob, and he was able to save the boy and swim back to land. The key takeaway from this perspective is that the mother was not able to do anything. Since she was much older than the two boys, it can be assumed that she has had many more life experiences, because with age comes more life experiences. It can be seen that neither the mother's intuition nor her memory had played any role in her ability to gain knowledge or access knowledge in order to save the boy. It was the boy's memory that allowed him to save his drowning friend. So in this example, you can see that age doesn't really play a factor. The mother, who should have had more life experiences, wasn't able to access knowledge quickly, and she had to rely on the little boy, who hadn't had as many life experiences or previous life experiences, to save the other boy.
This leads us into our conclusion. In conclusion, previous life experiences play a significant role in the way in which one is able to access knowledge. Our real-life situation supports our knowledge question because the 4-year-old did not have past life experiences, she would not know how to react. If Allie had been a little older or was more comfortable in speaking English, she may have been able to help by calling 911, or she may have even been able to get out of the tub by herself. Our knowledge question relates to many other real-life situations because life experiences can be acquired from a large variety of situations from any area of knowledge. Our new RLS and our new real-life situation and connection is when I was driving with my permit with my dad in the passenger seat and had taken the wrong turn on the way to a restaurant. When I was driving with my dad to a restaurant, I forgot which way to turn at an intersection and turned the wrong way. My dad then had to correct me and instruct me how to get back en route to the restaurant. I was an inexperienced driver as I only had my permit at the time, whereas my dad had been driving for many years and was a lot more familiar with the area than I was. This relates to our knowledge question because I had lacked previous life experiences and was not able to remember the correct turn. And then my dad, who has a lot of experience driving in the area and much more driving in general, was able to determine the fastest way to get back en route to the restaurant after I had made my mistake and gotten us off route.
How long do you think it is? 8 minutes. Actually, it's a little bit less than 8 minutes because there was like 30 seconds in the beginning, so it was only like a minute and a half.
All right.